I just thought I'd tell you something about what happened to me last winter. It was an awful winter, wasn't it? Oh, yes. Yeah, I had a terrible one. Well, I came back from the pub one night, pretty drunk, there's snow everywhere, and my wife met me at the front door. She said, "Come in here." She grabbed my ear, she took me into the kitchen, and she opened the fridge. There was nothing in it. She took me over into the parlour and opened the door. There was nothing in there. So she took me by the other ear and out to the front door and said, "You're not coming back in here until you bring me fur, fin and fowl." And she shut the door on me. I don't know what you do in town at 12 o'clock at night on a snowy night. Yeah, I was cold. I went and sat on a bench in the churchyard. The worst night of my life. Awful. Anyway, I got to thinking. My friend the vicar, over his mantelpiece, he had one of them big guns. I thought, yes, I could take up hunting. So in the morning, I was blue and cold, and I knocked on the vicar's door, and he said, "Come in, you don't look very well." I told him the story, and told him my plan, and he said, "Sit down and have a cup of coffee first, and then I'll show you how to use the gun." So we had the cup of coffee, and he took the gun down, and he said, "It's an old gun, this. And I'll have to show you how to do it. First of all, we've got the gun and we've got the ramrod. And you always keep the ramrod under your arm. Never fire the gun with a ramrod." And then he got a little horn of powder, and he said, "This is what you do. You pour it in here, and then you get your shirt and you tear a bit off your shirt because you need some wadding, and you ram it down. And then he got another little canister with what looked like ball bearings, and he poured some of them down. And then he said, you get another bit of your shirt, and you ram that down." You know, the vicar's always got, he's got no tails to his shirts, that vicar. It's terrible. Anyway, so we wadded it down, and then we went outside, and he said, "No, you fire it." He said, "What do you do?" "The ramrod under my arm, and then I fire the gun." That's right, you set, off you go. So I set off down to the lake. The lake was all frozen. But out in the middle, there was a little patch of clear water, and there were a whole load of ducks on the water. Well, I started to get excited. So I put the gun down, and I got the little powder horn out, and the ducks were starting to get a bit agitated, so I tipped maybe a bit too much powder in. Well, anyway, I didn't worry about that. I put the wadding in, tore my shirt, put the wadding in, and then I did the same. The ducks were getting very agitated now, so I tore a bit off my shirt, took all the ball bearings in, and then I wadded that down, and just as I got that down, the ducks took off. Well, before I could even think, I picked up the gun and went bang! Well, there was so much powder in it, I blew myself right over back, and blew me down. I landed in a bush, and under the bush there was a hare, and I squashed the life out of it. Fantastic, I thought. And then I looked out, what happened to the ramrod? When I looked out, in the patch of water, there were about, I don't know, there were many dead ducks. Anyway, so I set off across the lake gingerly. When I got really close, I could see the ramrod had speared 3 ducks. And not only that, when I got right to the edge of the clear patch of water, when they'd come down, the ramrod had speared a 20-pound salmon. Fantastic, I thought. Extraordinary. Well, I grabbed hold of the ramrod, and the salmon gave a tremendous jerk and pulled me straight in. Do you know that ice was so cold, so sharp, it cut my head right off. Well, I'm a cool man in a crisis, and before you could say Jack Robinson, I clasped my head on top of my hands on top of my head and held it down, and I trod water until the net's head was really frozen back on the net. And then I got the ramrod and the salmon, and I crawled out, and then I crawled slowly across the ice and got out, and then I picked up the hare, the gun, I walked back, and then I knocked on the door. "Darling, I'm back, and look what I've got." She said, "Marvellous. Look at that. Fin, fur and fowl, all in the morning. Fantastic." She said, "Come in, you must be frozen." I said, "I am. Come in and sit down by the fire." Well, I sat down and I started to relax a bit. I put my head down, put my arms down, and then I got a dewdrop on the end of my nose. And without thinking, I just went up and I flicked the dewdrop up. And my head started rocking. Well, I thought I'd better put it back on again. And I said, "Darling, call the ambulance, quick." And she did. And And by the miracle of modern microsurgery, I saved my wife and my head. Fantastic. I just thought we'd go to warmer climes for this next short story. Lion. Lion wakes up in the morning. Oh. I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. So he paddles off down to the waterhole. Before he takes his drink, he looks in the mirror and he says, "Oh, not only am I feeling good, I'm looking good. Oh, do you know, I really do think I'm the king of the jungle. So I think I may as well go and inspect my kingdom." And he set off, walking through the jungle, and he saw Zebra. She said, "Hey, Stripes, get over here." Zebra said, "Yes." Walked over very gingerly. He says, "Who's the king of the jungle?" He says, "Well, you are." "Get lost, Stripes." And Zebra disappeared so fast his stripes fell off the back. And he thought, I'm still feeling good. I'll carry on for a walk. And he saw a leopard up a tree. So he said, "Hey, Spots, come down here." "Okay, Lion." Came down. "Spots, who's the king of the jungle?" "Why, you are, Lion." "That's right, now get lost." And the leopard shot back up the tree and left all his spots on the floor. Lion's feeling extra good now. It's king of the jungle. Walks into a clearing and Mrs. Elephant's over the other side and says, "Hey, Mrs. Elephant, come here." She sashes over. "Yeah. Who's the king of the jungle?" The elephant picks Lion up, shakes him, turns him off down, shakes him, and then throws him across the clearing. The lion goes, "Oh, blah!" Sits heads high, lands on a tree, slides down, says, "Hey, there's no need to get so cross just because you don't know the right answer."